The one thing I will push back regarding the MAGA movement is that I think on the one hand, you have the one big problem, which of course is you are fucked either way when it comes to Israel-Palestine, whether it is Harris or Trump, because both sides are completely bought off by the Israel lobby. When you think about the most powerful lobbies on Capitol Hill, you've got like your top 3 or 5 that basically circulate around the Israel lobby, big oil, big pharma, maybe even the NRA. But they, with rare exception,
it's Israel lobby and the military-industrial complex.
That's it. Like that is what runs the show.
It is.
And I think it was very important because of all the people that we have seen that have attached themselves, especially when RFK was running, and how Rabbi Shmuley, as you have so eloquently put, Jen.
I cannot stand that man. He is so disgusting. I feel like I need to take a shower from watching him. He's so gross to me.
And you would think that in these circumstances, that
he's an embarrassment to Jewish people. He really is. And that's the thing.
When we talk about what sparks anti-Semitism and raises the flames even higher, Rabbi Shmuley, you're not going to get anybody who's really going to raise the flames any higher. And while I fully believe 1,000% that Candace Owens is a grifter, full stop.
Right. Like this is sort of like where two things can be true.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, whatever her motivation is, whatever her lane is, whatever her angle is, maybe it's just the fact that she feels that there is a movement of anti-war Christian nationalism that's growing in this country, not from a violent perspective.
You do realize that she got fired for taking a stand
against Ben Shapiro. Yeah.
About Palestine.
Correct. That is true.
So for whatever else, that's, respectable. So clearly she's at least sane on this position.
And Candace, to her credit, I will say this, Candace has been very consistently anti-war. She is not an advocate for going into other countries and blowing them up. She's
not into regime change.
My line is, if you don't have the same take on Ukraine, Russia as you do on Israel, Palestine, then you're full of shit.
Then you're wrong.
Either you've got the same take or you don't. And in this case, Candace does. We'll see what she had to say, as Piers Morgan seems to be making a habit out of hosting these little debates here.
October 7th, I don't think many people were engaged with what is happening in Israel. We kind of all said the same thing. Israel is our friend and ally. I count myself among those people. Post October 7th, the world, and especially I would say Zionists in media, were demanding that we all pay attention. And when we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered. You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza than were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly dense population. And this is, by the way, according to Haaretz, that 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. The fact
that takes a lot of balls.
But she's going to get called anti-Semitic for saying that. And because just by quoting Revelations, because the whole premise of Revelations is basically, so like he's sitting there laughing like, ha ha, we don't even believe that Bible anyway, as if his Bible is so much more, makes so much more sense. But, the fact is it's so anti-Semitic in the first place because the whole concept of Revelations is the Jews going to hell.
So 2 wrongs don't make a right. But she's absolutely correct about what this man represents and what he has done to further perpetuate not just the genocide, but anti-Semitism on the other side. Your thoughts on that?
Ooh, Candace I think there's a lot of Candace that's authentic here. And the thing is, she is such a good business person. And I'm just going to put myself into it. I am not. So I'm looking at Candace and I can see her progression where she's saying, I want to be more in the lane that I can go to sleep at night, but I still have to make money. That's why she talks with a clown like Rabbi Shmuley. Why talk? Who needs to talk to him?
Exactly.
But she knows he's a clown, and she has personal beef with him, and she knows it will get views, so she does it. and she annihilates him. I mean, she's just, you can say what you want about Candace Owens. That is not somebody that you really want to debate unless you are a high-level debater. That's why Ben Shapiro ran from the debate. That's why Ben Shapiro didn't want to debate. He would have got destroyed by her. She is she's very good.
I totally would have debated her. I would have crushed her into 1,000 pieces.
I'll tell you what, in the past, when I've seen her, like when I saw her on Joe Rogan, I mean, she just was, yeah, she was good at the actual like presentation, but her facts weren't solid.
When she made her statement.
And that is something like, and this was a while ago. Okay. So, but what she's speaking now is truthful. So, yeah, she presents it really solid, but I am curious, and like, I know I'm going to want to vomit, but I am curious how he is going to respond to this.
Well,
he is a troll.
He is. We'll see what he has to say. I know it's not too long, and Colin, I don't know if this thing covers all of what Shmuley says, but we'll see what he has to respond with.
That you would try to say, I am Jewish, and this is what I believe, and do and say the things that you are doing. People can see and hear evil, and what you are doing right now is an act of evil. The lies that you are telling, not just on me, but also on my family members, are a good example for the world to see what we are referring to when we call something radical Zionism.
He went after her family?
Yeah. Yeah. So they are, well, the Zionists are relentless in the way that they go after people. That's the other thing that you have to remember. And this is also the thing that ends up happening, like when Jen ran against Wasserman Schultz, it is obvious that they threaten people like they do. I've mentioned it on the podcast before, one that we know of for absolute certainty, who is a big fixture in a very working class area in the congressional district. The person was threatened with their livelihood, basically said, you fuck around and I will take away your ability to make a living. Like that's what Wasserman Schultz did. And this is exactly what the Zionist contingent led by the likes of Shmuley will do. They won't just go after Candace. They'll go after their family members. They'll say, it'd be unfortunate if we found something on you guys that might end up.
See if you can get her to come on the show.
Not a chance. Candace is too big for just about everybody at this point. I would try, but it's not likely to ever happen. And the way that they do it, Jimmy Zim Zam, is that they basically just tell you, hey, get out of line. This is going bye-bye. And they will not hesitate. That is the thing. And as I've been saying for a long time, the Zionists, they are going to win a lot.
I do like that she specifically said you. Because and so when they come for her and say that what she was saying was anti-Semitic, she really was specifically speaking to him.
Yes.
And that I appreciate that.
Yeah, Candace has been very careful with her narrowing down her criticisms to specific type of people, and she's not doing a broad scope.
Good.
The feedback that we're giving Candace from the other side is, if she's going to have a debate, do it with somebody who's serious. Now, maybe Rabbi Shmuley is really a smart dude, which I wouldn't be surprised. But, the actor, maybe that really is him, that he portrays is just goofy. So there's not much substance there. That's why I don't even like listening to him that much, because she has substance. He doesn't really have that much. So I think she needs to talk with other people and have a more serious. She talked with comic Dave Smith. Talk with more people like that.
Yeah.